Aliens killed 12 humans. Then we destroyed millions of them. HFY sci-fi story. The first attack came without warning. It was a Tuesday morning when the sky turned a strange, luminous shade of green. That was the day the aliens arrived. No one knew who they were or where they came from, but they made it clear they weren't here for peace. The first few hours were chaos. Cities around the globe were struck by massive energy blasts from the skies, leaving thousands dead in seconds. Communication was severed. Military responses failed. Every nation was in panic mode, scrambling to understand what was happening. The first casualties, 12 innocent souls, were those who had been in the wrong place at the wrong time: small-town farmers, tourists, factory workers. Just 12 lives snuffed out as the alien ships hovered over Earth. Their ships were strange, sleek, and otherworldly, glowing with an ominous energy. They didn't even try to negotiate. It was as though they were testing us, seeing how quickly we would break under the assault. But they underestimated humanity. We were a species that had learned to survive through adversity. The 12 deaths stoked the fires of something ancient within us, a thirst for vengeance, the primal need to protect our home. We fought back. At first, it seemed like a lost cause. Their ships were nearly indestructible, and their weapons were unlike anything we had ever seen. But humans, resilient and creative, refused to surrender. They quickly began working together, sharing knowledge and resources. We were not going to let our world fall to invaders. The military, scientists, and engineers, working across borders and without the restraints of politics, found a way to fight back. The turning point came when we discovered that the aliens' ships were vulnerable to a specific frequency. A few genius minds in secret bunkers hacked into alien communications, and after weeks of trial and error, they developed a weapon that could disrupt the alien technology. That was all we needed. We began striking back, disabling their ships, taking down their technology. The aliens, at first so confident and all-powerful, were stunned. They hadn't expected us to resist. Then came the final blow. Using our newly discovered weapon, we launched a global offensive. The weapon hit the aliens' homeworld, a planet millions of light-years away. We didn't just hit their ships or cities, we hit their very core. The energy we unleashed was so powerful, so precise, that their planet began to crumble under its weight. The aliens' once mighty civilization was destroyed in an instant. But we didn't stop there. In a final act of defiance, we launched a series of strikes that took down their entire fleet scattered across the galaxy. The aliens had made the mistake of believing they could wipe us out with a few quick strikes. But we were more than just survivors, we were conquerors. And when we stood united, there was nothing they could do to stop us. By the time the last alien ship was obliterated, millions of their kind were dead. The threat they posed was eradicated. The 12 humans who had been lost in the beginning were avenged, not just by a few, but by all of humanity, standing as one. It was a lesson the universe would never forget. We were the species that had fought back against impossible odds. We were the species that, despite all our flaws, refused to be broken. We were humanity, and no one, no matter how powerful, would ever forget that. Aliens killed 12 humans. Then we destroyed millions of them. HFY Sci-Fi Story, Part 2. The aftermath of the alien invasion left the Earth scarred but unbroken. The war had devastated landscapes, leaving entire cities in ruins and millions of lives lost. Yet, humanity had endured. We had risen from the ashes of our destruction and wiped out a force that was once thought invincible. But the universe, as we would soon learn, had not forgotten our victory. Months passed in uneasy peace. Earth's skies remained clear, the glowing green light of the alien ships never to return. But something had changed in us. The alien threat had awakened a dormant hunger within us, an awareness that we were capable of so much more than we had ever imagined. We had not only survived, we had obliterated them. Soon, the first whispers of something bigger reached our ears. The remnants of the alien fleet had been found scattered across different galaxies. But this time, we didn't wait for the enemy to regroup. The technology left behind by the invaders had been studied and reverse-engineered by Earth's finest minds, transforming our military into a force unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. We now had access to technology far beyond what we could have imagined before the invasion, weapons capable of shifting the fabric of space itself, faster than light travel, and armor that could withstand the strongest of attacks. We also had something else: intelligence. The aliens had left behind more than just their weapons. They had left us their archives, data on their civilization, their conquests, their history, and we learned something that both shocked and terrified us. The aliens had not been acting alone. They were part of a vast empire, one that spanned entire star systems, an empire that had destroyed countless civilizations before ours. Earth had merely been a footnote in their long and bloody history. The 12 humans who had died were just the beginning of what could have been an extermination on a planetary scale. They had thought they could take us easily, just another world to add to their collection of conquered lands. They had no idea who we were. And now, we knew exactly who they were, and we weren't going to let them continue their reign of terror. Humanity united like never before. The nations, once divided by borders, now saw themselves as part of a larger collective, a species that had fought back against a seemingly unstoppable enemy. The surviving alien warships, now in our hands, served as the backbone of our new fleet. With this power, we took the fight to their homeworlds. Our first strike was swift. A coalition of ships, armed with alien technology, descended upon one of the alien colonies on the edge of a distant star system. The aliens, thinking we were still a primitive species, were woefully unprepared. The attack was brutal. We didn't just destroy their ships or cities. We wiped out their entire military infrastructure, their industrial centers, their ability to wage war. We left nothing standing. This was just the beginning. We traveled from system to system, crushing their strongholds and decimating their fleets. Each victory brought more knowledge, more weapons, more power, but more importantly, it brought more unity. The surviving aliens began to realize that humanity was not just a force to be reckoned with. We were their doom. The aliens, in desperation, attempted to send emissaries, to plead for peace, to offer terms, but by this time, it was too late. Their arrogance had led them to underestimate us, and now we were hunting them down like the predators they had always considered themselves to be. Then came the final confrontation, the heart of the alien empire, an ancient city carved into the core of a dying star. It was said to be impenetrable, a fortress beyond imagination, one that even their own enemies feared. But we, the descendants of those 12 humans, had grown stronger. Our technology, our tactics, and our unity had transformed us into something even the oldest, most powerful civilizations of the galaxy feared. We arrived at their fortress, not as conquerors, but as the wrath of a species that had been pushed too far. We launched the final assault, an attack so fierce, so unrelenting, that it shook the stars themselves. The alien empire, which had once crushed civilizations without hesitation, finally understood what it meant to be on the receiving end of destruction. The battle lasted for days. Ships clashed in a storm of energy and fire, and the once proud alien defenders fell one by one. We turned their own technology against them, and in the end, the fortress, their last stronghold, was reduced to nothing more than rubble, consumed by the very star it had been built around. The galaxy was quiet again. The aliens, the ones who had killed 12 humans and sought to conquer us, were no more. The universe would remember us as the species that not only fought back against a deadly foe but obliterated their empire. In their place, a new human legacy was born, a legacy not just of survival, but of power. We were no longer the weak, vulnerable species the aliens had once mocked. We were humanity, and we had become the rulers of our destiny. As we looked to the stars, we knew one thing for certain: no one would ever dare threaten Earth again. The universe had learned its lesson. And so had we. Aliens killed 12 humans. Then we destroyed millions of them. HFY Sci-Fi Story, Part 3. The galaxy was silent for a long time after the fall of the alien empire. Humanity had gone from the brink of extinction to the apex of power, a testament to our strength, unity, and relentless will to survive. But even in victory, a strange new reality settled over us. We had destroyed an entire empire. But that didn't mean we were done with the stars. The universe was vast, and now, we were its new rulers. At first, we tried to maintain peace, with our military supremacy, our fleet patrolling the galaxy, and our control over the alien technology. The urge to conquer was tempered by a sense of responsibility. The last thing we wanted was to become what they had been, the very empire that had caused so much pain and destruction. But that wasn't an easy line to walk. Humanity had a thirst for knowledge, and with the galaxy now open to us, we began to explore its secrets. We mapped star systems, colonized distant planets, and studied the ruins of fallen civilizations. We had learned from our war with the aliens that we weren't invincible, and so we took every precaution, every opportunity to learn from our past mistakes. However, the more we explored, the more we discovered that our victory had created ripples far beyond our own star system. The first sign came when strange signals began to appear on the outer reaches of human-controlled space. At first, we thought it was just remnants of the alien network, data we had failed to fully decrypt in our pursuit of their technology. But the signals grew more complex, clearer, more deliberate. Someone or something was out there, watching us, studying us. A council of the brightest minds from Earth and its colonies convened to discuss the situation. The signals were alien, yes, but not from the same species we had destroyed. The messages hinted at another empire, another group of civilizations that had been waiting for the alien empire's fall. And now, they knew who we were. Humanity wasn't just a blip on the radar anymore. We were a force, and that drew attention. Weeks later, the first ship arrived. It wasn't a grand warship, like the ones the aliens had sent when they first attacked Earth. No, this was different. It was sleek, almost elegant in design, and it didn't come in with weapons blazing. Instead, it sent a simple message in an unfamiliar tongue, one that was later translated by our best cryptographers. "We have watched your rise. Now, we test you." Before we could react, the ship activated its advanced cloaking technology and vanished from sight. Panic spread like wildfire through human space. We had just wiped out one alien empire. Was this another one ready to test us? But there was something different about these new aliens. They weren't invading us, they were challenging us, observing us. Humanity's leaders made a choice. We would respond with diplomacy first, but we were ready for war. Should it come to that? It was a delicate balance. We were no longer the underdogs, and our message was clear. The galaxy had learned not to mess with Earth. The next few months were tense, filled with diplomatic exchanges, secret meetings, and reconnaissance missions. But as more alien ships began to appear, it became apparent that we weren't just facing a single species. The messages grew clearer. They were a coalition of civilizations, all united by a common goal: to understand humanity, to test us, to push us to see if we were worthy of taking our place among them. The more we interacted with these new civilizations, the more we realized the true depth of the galaxy's politics. We weren't the first species to rise up, nor would we be the last. But the old empires, like the one the aliens had once ruled, had been decaying for centuries. They had grown complacent, their might outstripped by their arrogance. The galaxy needed a new force, one that wasn't content with just survival, but one that would shape the future. Humanity had been forged in fire. We had fought, bled, and conquered our way to the top. And now, we had the chance to lead, not through fear or domination, but through strength, unity, and intelligence. The question wasn't whether we could defeat these new threats, but whether we were ready to lead. The galaxy had seen what we could do when provoked. Now, they were watching to see what we would do with our power. And so, with our new alien allies watching from the shadows, humanity made its decision. We would not be the conquerors of the galaxy, but we would be its champions. We would help rebuild, help guide, and help protect the universe from those who would repeat the mistakes of the past. The galaxy was vast, and it needed a new kind of leadership, one that embraced cooperation, knowledge, and the strength to ensure peace. But make no mistake, the message we sent to the stars was clear. We had learned from the past. We were not the species to be trifled with. Those who threatened humanity or sought to undo the peace we had worked so hard to build would find themselves facing the full fury of Earth. And so, as we watched the stars from our new colonies, we understood the truth. Humanity had become the galaxy's reckoning. The aliens had killed 12 of us, and in return, we had destroyed millions of them. But now, we were ready for something greater. We were ready to lead. The universe would remember the name of Earth, not as a conquered world, but as the birthplace of the galaxy's future. The reckoning had only just begun. Aliens killed 12 humans. Then we destroyed millions of them. HFY Sci-Fi Story, Part 4. The galaxy shifted in ways no one could have predicted. After humanity's crushing victory over the alien empire, a new era of exploration and diplomacy began. Earth and its colonies stood at the threshold of something unprecedented, a future where we were not just survivors, but the architects of peace and prosperity. But peace, as we soon learned, was fragile. The coalition of alien civilizations that had begun to test us now sought something more than just to observe. They wanted to understand humanity on a deeper level, to gauge if we could truly fit within the delicate balance of power that governed the stars. They were no longer watching from the shadows. They had emerged from their own war-torn histories, eager to see how we would act as the new force in the galaxy. And they weren't the only ones. As Earth began to take a more central role in galactic affairs, we attracted attention, not only from the peaceful civilizations but from the darker corners of the galaxy as well. Hidden factions, remnants of empires long thought destroyed, and rebel groups scattered across distant systems began to stir. They were watching us, learning from our victories and plotting their next move. The first sign of trouble came from the Outer Rim, a series of unexplained disturbances in spacetime, strange gravitational anomalies that had never been observed before. At first, the scientists thought it was just a natural phenomenon, but when the anomalies started to spread and grow more powerful, it became clear that something, or someone, was manipulating the fabric of the galaxy itself. Then, a new enemy appeared. They called themselves the Vorath, a race of cybernetic beings who had been left behind by the collapse of a much older, now forgotten empire. The Vorath were relentless, cold, and calculating, devoid of the organic flaws that made other species unpredictable. Their purpose was singular: control. Their arrival was swift and terrifying. They wielded technologies far beyond what we had ever encountered, and their cold, emotionless nature made them even more dangerous. The Vorath didn't seek to conquer in the traditional sense, they sought to assimilate, to strip the galaxy of all its individuality and turn it into a machine-like order. The message they sent was chilling. You have learned nothing. You destroyed the aliens who killed your people, and now you will be made to pay. You will be reformed or annihilated. You will become one with us. Humanity's response was immediate. We were no longer the frightened, disorganized species we had once been. We had risen from the ashes of a nearly destroyed Earth and wiped out a galactic empire. The Vorath underestimated us again. We didn't negotiate. We didn't offer terms. We fought. The war with the Vorath was unlike any conflict humanity had faced before. It wasn't just a war of ships and weapons. It was a war of minds. The Vorath's cybernetic intelligence allowed them to predict our every move. Their fleet faster, more precise, and with less room for error. But humanity, ever adaptive, had a secret weapon: the heart of our species. In the face of impossible odds, we turned to the very thing that had fueled our survival for millennia: the desire for freedom. We refused to become just another cog in the machine. We fought with ingenuity, with chaos, and with the understanding that the Vorath's greatest weakness was their inability to understand our unpredictability. We sabotaged their systems, hacked into their networks, and used their own technology against them. Every victory, no matter how small, was a step toward breaking the Vorath's grip on the galaxy. But the Vorath were relentless, and it became clear that they weren't going to stop until they had erased us completely. They launched a full-scale invasion, targeting our colonies first. Their cybernetic fleets overwhelmed defenses, and soon we were fighting not just in space, but in our very cities, on the ground, in our homes, and in the heart of our people. It was in that moment, as the battle raged on Earth itself, that the galaxy saw the true might of humanity. We had been pushed to the brink before, and we had always risen. And now, in our darkest hour, we did it again. We fought back harder, with more ferocity than ever before. We were no longer just defending Earth. We were fighting for the freedom of every living being in the galaxy. Humanity's greatest strength had always been its ability to adapt, to learn, and to fight with a passion that no enemy could extinguish. And the Vorath, for all their cold logic and unfeeling might, underestimated this most basic of human traits: our will to survive. After years of bitter war, we finally struck the heart of the Vorath Empire, a massive, cybernetic cityship, a living weapon that spanned entire systems. It was here, in the belly of their machine, that humanity's greatest victory was won. A team of Earth's finest warriors, scientists, and engineers managed to infiltrate the Vortha's core and deliver a devastating blow, severing their network, shutting down their command structure, and erasing their ability to function as a unified force. The war didn't end with a peace treaty or negotiation. It ended with the collapse of the Vortha's empire. They were broken, scattered, and their influence reduced to nothing. The galaxy had been saved again, but at a cost. The aftermath of the Vorth War left humanity with a harsh lesson: power must never be wielded recklessly, and even the mightiest empires can fall. But it also proved something else, that humanity was not just a species of survivors. We were builders. We could shape our own future, create alliances, and lead the galaxy in a way no other species could. We had fought the aliens who killed 12 of us, destroyed their empire, and risen from the ashes. We had faced the Vorth, a mechanical force that sought to erase us, and we had won. And now, we stood at the center of a galaxy that could no longer deny our place in it. Humanity had become the defenders of the galaxy, its leaders, and its protectors, and we would never again allow our world, or any other, to fall under the heel of invaders. The universe would remember the name of Earth, not as a species to be feared, but as a species that had risen again and again, no matter how great the threat. We were humanity, and we were ready to shape the future of the stars. Aliens killed 12 humans, then we destroyed millions of them. HFY Sci-Fi Story, Part 5. The galaxy, still reeling from the fall of the Vorth, was never the same again. While humanity's place at the head of this new era seemed secured, the task before us was monumental. In the aftermath of the war, many species sought to establish relations with us, eager to rebuild and secure their futures within the new order we had created. But not all were so eager for peace. For the first time in galactic history, the once unified alien coalitions began to splinter. The collapse of the Vorth had left a power vacuum, and that vacuum, as history had shown, was always filled with ambition, greed, and distrust. A new, darker force began to stir in the unseen corners of the galaxy, and whispers of an ancient enemy started to surface. It was the Alrek, a species whose existence had been whispered about for millennia but never confirmed. They were the true masters of the galaxy's ancient, forgotten empires. Long before even the alien race that had initially attacked Earth, the Alrek were no ordinary species. They were beings of pure energy, capable of manipulating both matter and time itself. Some believed they had even been responsible for the rise and fall of countless civilizations in the distant past. What made the Alrek so dangerous was not just their power, but their philosophy. Unlike the Vorth, who sought to assimilate, the Alrek saw themselves as the rightful rulers of all life. They believed that any civilization that had reached a certain threshold of power, like humanity, was destined to fall under their control. In their view, the galaxy was a garden, and they were its gardeners, trimming away the weeds of burgeoning civilizations before they could threaten the natural order. The Alrek had been dormant, observing the rise of the galaxy's new powers, waiting for the right moment to strike. And with the destruction of the Vorth and the subsequent chaos in the galaxy, that moment had arrived. The first signs of their presence were subtle: disturbances in the fabric of space-time, entire star systems that blinked out of existence, temporal anomalies. We thought it was the aftermath of the Vorth's technology failing, but then the messages came. A single transmission, intercepted by our most advanced scanners, sent a wave of dread across the galaxy. It was simple, but chilling. You have fought well, but you are not the first, nor will you be the last. The Alrek are awake. You will kneel or be erased. Humanity had defeated alien empires. We had survived the Vorth, but the Alrek were something beyond what we had ever faced. They didn't need vast armies or fleets. They were a force that existed outside the natural laws of the universe. They had the power to reshape reality itself, and their goal was clear: control. Once again, Earth and its colonies found themselves on the front lines of an existential war. The galaxy held its breath. The Alrek's presence was felt everywhere, but no one knew exactly how to fight an enemy that could exist in multiple timelines, shift the very fabric of space, and manipulate the core laws of physics. Diplomacy had no place here. Negotiation was futile. The Alrek were not interested in coexistence. They had ruled before, and they intended to rule again. But humanity, now tempered by countless wars and struggles, did not hesitate. We understood the stakes. The Alrek might have been beings of pure energy, But they had not accounted for one thing: the unyielding nature of human will. We fought them differently. Rather than relying on our traditional technologies, which were rendered useless by the Alrek's manipulation of reality, humanity turned inward. We harnessed the one thing they had never understood: the power of unity. Human beings, when joined together, had always been capable of the impossible. The leaders of Earth gathered the greatest minds from across the galaxy: scientists, philosophers, military strategists, and even artists and spiritual leaders, all came together to solve the impossible. They developed a radical new strategy to confront the Alrek at their own game, using the very fabric of reality against them. By studying the temporal disturbances and anomalies, we discovered something incredible: the Alrek, for all their power, had one fatal flaw. They were tethered to a specific timeline, a specific reality, and this tether, while powerful, could be severed. If we could find a way to disrupt their perception of reality, we could destabilize their power. Humanity's greatest minds developed a weapon, a device that could disrupt the Alrek's temporal control, causing them to lose their grip on the galaxy's timeline. It was not a weapon in the traditional sense, but a device that could unravel the threads of their existence, forcing them to exist in an unstable reality of their own making. The plan was risky. We couldn't predict how the Alrek would respond, and the weapon itself had never been tested. But humanity had never been a species to shy away from risk. We were the ones who had overcome impossible odds before, and we would do so again. The final battle took place in the heart of the Alrek Empire, at the center of a star system that no one had dared enter for millennia. As we approached their stronghold, the Alrek unleashed everything they had. Time itself seemed to bend and twist around us. Stars flickered in and out of existence, and entire fleets disappeared into alternate realities. The battle was unlike anything we had ever witnessed. But humanity's will was stronger. The weapon was activated. In an instant, the Alrek's grip on reality faltered. The universe seemed to shudder as the very fabric of time unraveled. The Alrek, once beings of supreme power, were thrown into a chaotic existence, out of phase with the galaxy they had sought to control. Their empire dissolved into nothingness, and their energy forms scattered, unable to maintain cohesion in the reality they had once bent to their will. The galaxy was saved once more. But this victory came with its own price. The weapon had destabilized the very fabric of spacetime in the battle, causing ripple effects that would take centuries to heal. Still, the Alrek were no more. Their reign of terror had come to an end, and humanity, once again, had proven itself to be the ultimate survivors. In the aftermath, we understood something profound. We had faced the impossible, and not only had we survived, we had triumphed. Humanity had become more than just a species of fighters. We had become the protectors of the galaxy, the guardians of its future. The Alrek were gone, but the universe would never forget the name of Earth, a species that had risen from the ashes time and again, challenging the cosmos itself, refusing to bow to any force that sought to destroy them. And now, with the galaxy at peace, humanity would shape its future, one where we would never again be the underdogs. The universe had learned its lesson. Humanity would not be erased. Aliens killed 12 humans. Then we destroyed millions of them. HFY Sci-Fi Story, Part 6. The galaxy, for the first time in eons, found itself without a singular, unifying threat. The fall of the Vorith had shifted the balance of power, and the eradication of the Alrek had shattered the dominance of any being or empire that could challenge humanity's will to survive. Earth and its colonies were no longer just survivors of a galactic war. We had become the galaxy's unchallenged protectors, its guiding light, and its architects. But peace, as we had learned, was always fleeting. In the wake of the Alrek's annihilation, a new wave of unrest began to bubble beneath the surface. The coalition of peaceful civilizations, which had initially rallied around humanity's victory, now found themselves divided. While many supported Earth's rise to power, others saw our rapid dominance as a threat. The galaxy had long been used to a certain order, one defined by ancient powers, traditions, and intricate alliances. Humanity's meteoric rise, while impressive, had unsettled many who feared our sudden ascendancy would upset the balance that had existed for millennia. There were those who still clung to the old ways of galactic politics, trade agreements, political treaties, and ancient borders. But humanity had no interest in these outdated systems. Our goal was clear: to build a galaxy where cooperation, knowledge, and unity were the foundation of every interaction. A galaxy where no species would ever be subject to the horrors we had endured. But peace had its enemies. A rogue faction, known as the Shalgar, began to make waves in the distant regions of space. These were not a singular species, but rather a dangerous collective, a coalition of former enemies, pirate factions, and warlords who sought to destabilize the new order. The Shalgar believed in chaos, in the survival of the fittest, and in the right to take what they wanted by force. They were a fringe element, but with a dangerous level of ambition and a growing military force, fueled by stolen alien technology and the remnants of the Voritha's weapons. They were the antithesis of everything humanity stood for. The Shalgar began to spread their influence across sectors that had previously been under humanity's protection. They raided colonies, sabotaged trade routes, and spread propaganda, calling for a return to the old ways, where strength was measured in blood, and might made right. Their leader, a charismatic and ruthless figure known only as Karnak, declared that humanity's rule was an abomination and that the galaxy must return to a time before Earth's rise. Karnak was not just a warlord, he was a symbol, an embodiment of everything humanity had fought against. He was the very thing we had destroyed in the alien empire: the thirst for power, the disregard for life, and the belief that might alone could shape the galaxy. The Shalgar posed a new kind of threat, one that wasn't about pure technological superiority or ancient powers, but about ideology. They sought to unravel everything humanity had built, and they had the support of thousands of rogue factions and splintered species who still longed for the days of conquest and anarchy. Once again, humanity found itself at war. This time, however, it wasn't just about survival, it was about the future of the galaxy. Humanity had built a fragile peace, one founded on the lessons of the past. The Shalgar, in their arrogance and thirst for destruction, sought to tear that peace down and plunge the galaxy back into the chaos it had once known. But humanity had learned. We had grown from a species battered by alien invaders to a force that now defined the galaxy's future. Our technology was unmatched, our unity stronger than ever, and our resolve unyielding. But this wasn't going to be a war of simple conquest. This was a battle for the soul of the galaxy. Karnak, with his growing army, challenged humanity's influence with every move. He attacked critical infrastructure, sabotaged key military installations, and attempted to turn entire sectors against Earth's leadership. But what Karnak did not understand was that humanity's strength lay not in its military might alone, but in its diversity and ingenuity. Every species under humanity's banner, whether human or alien, was unified by a common purpose. The galaxy we sought to build was not a place of conquest and tyranny, but one where each species could thrive and contribute. The battle with the Shalgar would be different from anything we had faced before. It wasn't just about superior tactics or firepower, it was a fight for hearts and minds, a war of ideas. Karnak believed in domination. We believed in cooperation. The first decisive battle came when the Shalgar launched a massive surprise attack on a crucial sector, one that served as the central hub for trade, diplomacy, and human-alien relations. Karnak's forces overran the system quickly, taking entire colonies hostage and threatening to destroy everything humanity had worked for. But Earth did not bow. Humanity, for all its imperfections, was a force of hope, and when the call for help went out across the galaxy, Earth's allies, alien species once thought too distant or disconnected, rallied to our side. The battle that followed was a whirlwind of tactics and strategy. The Shalgar, despite their initial success, could not match the ingenuity and resilience of a galaxy united. Humanity's military forces, backed by allies from every corner of the galaxy, staged an incredible counteroffensive. We struck back not just with firepower, but with strategy. We targeted Shalgar supply lines, sabotaged their key assets, and used their own weaknesses division against them. And then came the final blow. Karnak, in his desperation, activated a doomsday weapon capable of destroying entire planets. It was a weapon forged from the remnants of the Voritha's technology, an apocalyptic device capable of reshaping the very structure of a star, with the fate of countless lives hanging in the balance. Humanity's finest engineers and military minds raced against the clock to stop him. In a daring mission, a team of humans and alien allies infiltrated the Shelgar flagship and deactivated the weapon just moments before its activation. Karnak was captured, his forces scattered, and the Shelgar were broken. The galaxy had once again been saved, not by sheer military force, but by the strength of a united humanity and its allies. The Shelgar had sought to return the galaxy to chaos, but in the end, they had failed. Humanity's message was clear: we would not let the galaxy fall back into darkness. We would fight for the future, for peace, and for the freedom of all sentient beings. With the Shelgar defeated and their reign of terror ended, the galaxy entered a new age, an age where humanity had proven, once again, that its will could not be broken. We had faced down empires, ancient powers, and rogue factions, and each time, we had emerged victorious. The universe would remember Earth as the force that had never backed down, never surrendered, and never ceased to fight for what was right. The story of humanity, from the fall of 12 to the destruction of millions, was far from over. And the galaxy would never forget the name of Earth, its greatest protector and its most relentless force.